Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Sack here. For 2 years straight, we have gotten flying related tragedy stories in the media on Halloween. Last year, 2014, it was the Spaceship Two crash. This year, it is a passenger jet traveling from Egypt to Russia. They're saying that 224 people were on the plane, all of them died, 217 passengers, 7 crew. They're saying it was an Airbus A321. And what stands out to me is I wanted to see what the difference was of 224 days from yesterday. And counting backwards, the date of March 21st is exactly 224 days earlier, which can be written 321, kind of like Airbus A321. In a photo put out of the rescue crew that was deployed for the crash, the mainstream media had this out. They had this ambulance with the number 123 on the back. It looks like this might be the dialing number in Egypt for 911. Also, ambulance number 1233 having the 123321 within. There was this tweet from Airbus company at 3:21 in the morning saying they are aware of what is being reported in the media with regards to the crash. What else caught my eye in this photo is the back of this Toyota truck. And notice how the T is dropped. Toyota in simple English gematria sums to 96, but if you take off the T and just add Oyota, it sums to 76. This stands out because yesterday's date numerology was 76, and it has actually been 76 days exactly since the last major plane crash reported in the media, which happened in Indonesia. We come into that in just a moment. Also, Truth Seeker, if you count the end date from March 22nd, 322 or 22/3 to October 31st, the date of this wreck is also a span of 224 days. A lot of you are aware of what's up with the number 322, 223, a number often quoted among tragedy. It's possible that this wreck was measured from these dates. On the satanic calendar, the spring equinox, which falls in that period of time, March 20th through the 22nd, those are some of the most high holy days for the satanic religion. Anyhow, the wreck yesterday came exactly 76 days after the August 16th Indonesia plane crash, which I covered very well on this video blog. You can watch. That story was very much by the numbers. It was very transparent. It was very easy to see through in record time. Notice this is also a span of 10 weeks and 6 days, kind of like that number 106 that we've seen a lot this year. From the reporting, let's just read it real quick. The cause of Saturday's Russian jetliner crash in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula still is unknown, but it is most likely due to a technical failure and there is no evidence of any terrorist action. Egyptian Airports Company Chief Adel Al-Majoub told CNN Arabic on Saturday. The Airbus A321 had a routine check before flight showing everything was okay. So, what's interesting about this is how they say, there's no signs of terrorism, seems like a technical failure. We've seen this reporting before, and then later they've revealed that there was an act of terrorism, such as the MH17 flight in Ukraine. It later came out that a missile took it down when at first they thought it was a technical failure. I have a video on that. That crash was stolen from Genesis 8.4. Please check out these videos I've done on past plane wrecks. They help give the backstory of what I am reporting here. Plane crashes by the numbers over and over. Anyhow, the name Chief Adel El Majoub has gematria of 76. Again, yesterday's date numerology was 76. A lot of 76 coded in this story. Also, Egyptian Airports Company, the way it's written, has gematria of 96 like Freemason. Remember, these numbers were coded into the back of the Toyota truck. I tell you, these scenes that they put up for the photos, the photo opportunities for these media stories are staged in the same way movies are. They tell us 217 passengers went off the radar 23 minutes into the flight at 6:20. Some interesting things here. It left a Red Sea resort on the Sinai Peninsula. Look at the gematria of Sinai and Red Sea. Probably the reason those places have the names that they do. So much in this world is created by gematria and the numbers. This is bigger than just news stories. Sinai in Jewish gematria sums to 149. Skull and bones equals 149. Remember, skull and bones number is 322. With regards to the 25 coding in here, if you write out 25 in Summit, it also sums to 149, how all these numbers come together. It was an Airbus that crashed. Airbus has the gematria of 25. It was flight 9268. Those numbers have a numerology of 25. This reporting says it went off radar at about 25 minutes after it took off. Other sources have said 23 minutes. 217 passengers, and look at what it says, 17 children ages 2 to 17. Extra focus on this 217 number. From this reporting on the story, I just noticed on my phone that it had 217 shares, and I took this picture at 10:04 p.m. last night, hours, more than 12 hours after it was reported. They love to do this, even code the numbers of the story into the shares. All sorts of mainstream outlets do this. Interesting to note that the word fiction equals 217, and in simple English gematria, 76, like the number coded all over the rec. Was this a fiction? I think it very well might have been. Again, yesterday's date numerology, 76. It reminds of MH370, which disappeared on the 67th day of the year over water. Water has gematria of 67. They said this plane that crashed was traveling 67 miles per hour at impact, the reflection of 76. The word shocking also has gematria of 217. I think these media stories are very much about shocking the public. This story comes at the beginning of November. November's the month with the most plane travel, as well as December, the holiday season for much of the world. The word psychological warfare, or the phrase, has gematria of 217. The media is very much psychological warfare. That's what its real purpose is. Ask yourself, when was the last time you were informed about something important through a media story? Probably never. But you've probably been shocked, scared, paranoid from all sorts of things presented in the media over the years. The resort that the plane left from in Sinai Peninsula have very similar gematria, 64. Numbers that just show up. Just want to show you the coding. Sometimes it could be a coincidence. This happened in Egypt. Both the words Egypt and sacrifice have gematria of 73. The phrase ritual sacrifice in Pythagorean gematria is 73, just like sacrifice in simple English gematria. If you want to know how to gematria, just type in this. Go to your YouTube search, type in how to gematria, just like that. My video will pop up. You will be gematriaing in no time. The population of this town, 73,000, with these other 73s coded into it. On coordinates of 27 and 34, 27 often associated with death, 34 having to do with murder. Hopefully these people didn't really die. Hopefully this isn't a false flag. If it was, very possible that this is a ritualistic killing, a murder. The type of plane, an Airbus A321, the company was Metrojet, having this gematria of 34. The big way, 106, the number of prophecy. Seeing that one show up a lot. We mentioned that at the beginning. Also curious, Airbus put out this tweet at 2:21 a.m. The reason this stands out, the number 221, it shows up here in a related story, is because the plane crash, the Germanwings plane crash on the 44th parallel of March 24th was exactly 221 days, or 7 months, 7 days before this crash. 221. And if you can recall, the suicidal pilot who crashed the Germanwings plane was named Andreas, having Jewish gematria of 221. Andreas Lubitz. Andreas in simple English gematria is 62, kind of like how this plane disappeared at 6:20 a.m. It crashed in Sinai, Egypt, having gematria of 62. It was on the way to St. Petersburg, having gematria of 62. CNN put on Richard Quest, who they always have on to talk about plane crash hoaxes, gematria of 62. Also, Truth Seeker, I want to point out that I make the point often, what's in the news is often synced up with pro sports. Yesterday's World Series game on this same date ended 5-3. Possibly not a coincidence. Some words with 62 gematria. The Masons, the Zionists, they control the media. All those numbers are specific to them. The Andreas Lubitz plane crash incident connected San Francisco. He was shown at the Golden Gate Bridge in a photo over and over. San Francisco has gematria of 122, just like Kansas City. The team's in last year's World Series. This year, Kansas City's in the World Series. They won last night 5-3. Also, here's some loose connections between Skull and Bones, Egypt. Notice how Egypt and Skull and Bones have similar gematria and Jewish gematria. We talked about the Skull and Bones connection at the beginning. 25, when you write out, connects back to Skull and Bones as well. And Halloween has this Jewish gematria of 1049, drop the 0. Very similar numbers. Could be a coincidence, possibly not. Also, check this out, Truth Seeker. Going back 224 days from the date of the wreck goes to March 21st. March 21st is the 80th day of the year. The 224th day of the year is August 12th. From August 12th to the date of the wreck is 80 days, or 11 weeks and 3 days. Between March 21st and August 12th is a span of 144 days, or 4 months and 22 days, 224 in reverse. And remember, in the Germanwings crash, which this seems related to, 144 people died. So, again, this stuff could be possibly coincidence or possibly not. This might have something to do with the way the story is scripted, told, and the numbers reported. March 21st has this gematria of 222, a number that was coded into the Germanwings crash, as well as the Amtrak crash of Philadelphia earlier this year. So I just want to point out those things. Something interesting about these numbers. Got this headline from CNN, it suddenly disappeared. It suddenly disappeared equals 96, like Freemason. The word costume equals 96. I bring that up because this happened on Halloween. Halloween also has gematria of 41, like suddenly. So, these are all signs of who is responsible, whether it's a hoax or a false flag. CNN, a very Masonic network, loves to give it away with their headlines. Here's the story of the Indonesian plane. Everything about this story was coded. They said that there were 54 passengers. It crashed in a location with 54 gematria. The flight was supposed to be 54 minutes. Notice it took off at 2:22. We were just talking about that number. The person reporting had a name gematria of 54. Indonesia equals 54. This story was super coded, Truth Seeker. Remember, this happened 76 days before the wreck yesterday. Today's headline on CNN is this: it broke up in midair, possibly hinting that they're saying an explosive caused it, some type of explosion. I don't know how else it would blow up in midair. But this headline connects to Halloween, like the date of the wreck. See the gematria of 95? And from last year, we had the Spaceship 2 wreck. Spaceship 2 equals 55. Last year's Halloween date was a date with 55 numerology. Another story by the numbers. So that's what I want people to take away. These stories are contrived by the numbers. Yesterday's plane crash appears to be another one. So that's the message, Truth Seeker. Until next time.